It is Friday, March the 25th. As if that matters, but yeah. 2 episodes in a week. Why, you ask? As if you couldn't read. But we'll tell you anyway. Atlanta's back with season 3 on FX.
Oh, yes.
Very excited. One of the best new series, period.
Oh, I am 100% in your corner on that one.
I'll give it that title. Season 3, we get 10 episodes. Unfortunately, it's going to end with season 4 in the fall, but luckily they shot it concurrently, so it's not like we have COVID filming break or like a long hiatus. So we'll be good, and with how the writing is so far, I'm really looking forward to what else we get into.
It's a very exciting time of year.
Previously on Atlanta, essentially we know Ern, Al, and Darius, they made it onto the plane before Ern had to plant Uncle Willie's golden pistol in a Clark County's bag. But Clark got on the plane. Unfortunately, Luke, his manager, he took the rap for the gun, and that's basically what solidified Ern as Al or Paperboy's manager. And he told him, the situation that he saw him, but it made him official in his eyes. So nice little bow on season 2, because I know we weren't doing this before, obviously, but just to bring everybody up to speed. And now on season 3, because, man. It premiered with 2 episodes. 2 episodes. Because why not? You might as well just start off with a complete bang, because... So we'll start with episode 1, which was 3 slaps.
How do you even dive into episode 1?
So episode 1 was very interesting. It follows L'Aquarius. So we don't really see our traditional characters until literally the end. But this right here, it's one of the journey type of episodes, but it's worth it. It is very much so worth it.
They do this a lot where they just have like side episodes. This one just, the storytelling in this episode is on a whole another level of greatness.
So essentially the story is about a little black boy named Aquarius. Pretty smart kid, just energetic, dancing, doing the thing. He got excited in class, got this little bit disruptive. Teacher told him to stop, whatever. Fast forward, kind of got in trouble with his parents and, well, mother and grandparent. And it's just like there's hilarity along with the undertone and everything from micro to macro aggressions, because it's just like it's written, but I know some stuff just went over people's heads as they're watching, of course, because like this is the type of show that you have to watch more than once, and it's an easy watch, so it's not like you're gonna be like, I'm just watching this once and that's it. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you only watch it once.
Oh yeah.
So this story is essentially based off of I can say the tragedy of Devontae Hart. Basically, a lesbian couple is a very abusive couple that lives for the gram, and through the abuse, just taking advantage of the system, I'll say, and not getting apprehended or even in trouble for any of the horrendous things that they were doing to the children, and always just getting off. I'll link the story below so you can go read it in depth. Ended terribly in tragedy, because essentially what happens in this episode is really what happens in the story. Unfortunately, it was a murder-suicide, so it actually, the children did die. But the symbolism of this mixed with the mystery of Lake Lanier and just how they coalesce that with, oh my God, so much symbolism. Like this slow and steady wins the race at the end of the episode. And it's just kind of like, when you're a kid, you just talking to your parents any sort of way, and it's just crazy. Even like sometimes just like unprovoked. But then you think about it afterward and you're just like, okay, that was wrong. Let me just calm down real quick. It really does make you think, unfortunately, because it just kind of shows the trajectory of how doing one thing wrong can completely just turn on its head. Obviously, this is a very extreme case, because his mom basically was just like, all right, well, you can go. Bye.
That was kind of messed up. I can understand why she was acting like that, because, your son keep getting into trouble, which he had kept getting into trouble at school. You get fed up. So then when people show up at your door, you're like, well, I know I didn't call nobody to come check up on me. Did you call some? Like, at that point, you're frustrated. So it's like, fine, you want to go with them, go with. Granted, she probably should have let him explain. But seeing that, but also seeing what she was trying to teach him, she seemed like a really decent person. Like she was just trying to let her son know, listen, they truly do not care about you, and they will kill you the first chance that they get. Which throughout the episode, he did end up learning.
Basically the symbolism of how quickly us as black children have to grow up very fast and have to take on the responsibility of a young adult at a very young age. Even though you are still considered a child, you still have responsibilities to uphold and follow. Obviously, yeah, school's your only job, or whatever, and other, epithets that they love to throw in your face at that age. But just seeing that on screen and how he had to go through that lesson to actually learn and understand what she said, just to ultimately end up back at the crib watching TV.
Oh yeah, it shows so many good sides of literally everything. I mean, the main reason that she was so upset and fed up is because they literally tried to tell her pretty much that your son needs to be in special ed, which is very annoying because, I've been in that situation. I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb at all. School is just boring. Some kids don't learn the same way as other kids. And when you have people who's just telling you to your face, your son is pretty much, he's special needs. He needs to go to special needs classes, probably go back a grade. You're like, no, no, he's very smart. Like, it's very understandable for a mom to, or parents in general. You go to a school, especially if you go to a white school, and your kid isn't learning as fast as they would want them to, then they're very quick to say, oh, well, then your kid needs to be held back or your kid needs to be in special ed classes. So I can understand her frustration. I can understand why she put him out. I understand that entire aspect. And it's like, oh my goodness. I don't know. The writing on this episode of both sides of the coin was just, yeah, this was top notch.
The opening monologue was on point. I don't know how I just glossed over that, but just when the two fishermen were in the boat at Lake Nilier and the actual storytelling of white versus, well, somewhat the black experience and how it's constantly overshadowed by whiteness.
I ain't even gonna go into the whole spirit thing because that was deep too. But I think a lot of people gonna watch that episode and just gloss over it like that doesn't mean a single thing. It means a lot.
Well, because white people tend to make themselves ignorant to situations like that, which is why stuff like that continues happening. But I mean, if you make yourself ignorant, not learn or to be, how can I say this? Not even moved by the material or content, but to actually feel and listen to what is going on rather than sitting there clutching your pearls like, oh my God, what is happening? And reacting rather than listening, that's on them. If you didn't understand that, and then basically how the beginning returned back to the end was a callback for that, I don't know what to tell you. Literally, the foster moms felt that a murder-suicide in this case would be better for their black kids because the country doesn't care about black people. So might as well kill them because they weren't doing too hot themselves with the rampant debt and just constantly trying to outrun the system that they were basically pillaging from all along in attempts to do the right thing. So if you ever see or notice a situation like that, just keep your eyes open because there are a lot of people who take advantage of the fostering system. And I'll just leave it at that.
Like G said, this Atlanta is a show where you have to watch multiple times to, really catch everything. And this is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. A lot.
Oh, for sure. And it should. It's storytelling. Since people complain so much about, oh my God, I don't want to hear about slavery anymore. How about you hear about some stuff that's happening currently? Or is that so long ago?
Yeah, because they literally turned these kids into modern day slaves.
I mean, they pretty much were. They were workers for them.
That's literally, yeah. No pay, no food.
Constant abuse.
Making chicken in a microwave. Who makes chicken in a...
White people. But yeah, fried chicken in a microwave. I should say, quote unquote, fried chicken.
Oh my goodness.
In a microwave. Huh? How? What? And then you raising them with no washcloths. Come on, son.
What in the world? Girl, if you... Listen, people. Wash yourself with a daggone washcloth. Don't use your hands. Get a washcloth. A lot of them trying to figure out what a washcloth is.
They're not even like, what is the difficulty? Yeah, they actually exist for a reason. They're not just there for
What is
fun.
that? A little dry towel? That's
The
not going
heck?
to dry me off. Let me get this picture.
It's for my fingertips. Like, no, it's for your body, you weirdo. It's just so goofy. Even the black social worker that basically came in for like a wellness check for the kids' peep, she was like, "Do y'all have a washcloth?" And they were just like,
Like, washcloth, you got to
"Huh?"
die now.
It's so terrible. Yeah, they murdered her, had her head in a damn pickle jar. So it's just like very true crime-ish. Even that part of it will pique your interest, especially if you are into true crime and stuff like that. Because it's just so weird. Obviously, these two ladies were on the lam doing God knows what else.
That little scene right there says so much. Somebody who looked like us trying to help us, and at the end of the day, it's still nothing. We still get nowhere. Like, it's just the little intricate stuff. And this episode was written by Donald Glover's little brother, Stephen Glover.
Of course.
The stuff that man put in this episode to just make it like, yeah, okay, you need to pay attention here. This is the message right here. And yeah, ooh, man, this is deep.
Basically, at the end of the episode, luckily the children escaped. Literally, you're waiting at the end. It's just like, oh, they're sleeping. Oh, whatever. Then they are on their way merrily to drive off the damn bridge. And then she finds a dog under the hat. She's just like, gotcha. And then you see L'Aquarius do the stop, drop, and roll out the back while she's just looking like, we about to die. Like, yeah, you are, ma'am. And the other chick is just so out of it, so. And then luckily he sees the other kids made it out later while he's watching TV. Yeah, tragic, happy ending, of course. The real story is not like that at all. But if it were anything like that, it's like kind of like a what if type of deal. Like, I know it is obviously a tragic end, but like it just makes you think, especially about like situations like that where people's bodies are never recovered. So that was a very powerful ending.
Oh yeah.
And then we get like a little glimpse of Ern in bed with a European trick. So great. So now for episode Z2. Sinterklaas is coming to town. So for the most part, this episode takes place in Amsterdam. Paperboy, who is on his Euro tour. You get to see everybody again and meet up. Ern, Paperboy, Darius, as well as Van, whose bags got lost.
Yo, that sucks. That really. I don't know what I would do if that happened.
Exactly. This is why when you take trips, you have to be ready for it. Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Shoot, that's where having extra money comes in hand.
But yeah, a brunt of the episode is Van is being escorted by Darius, and she's kind of like on a journey herself. She didn't get the job that she wanted. Lottie's doing well at school. She says she had a man back at home. Allegedly. We'll see about that.
Quote unquote. But you in Amsterdam.
She wanted to come back to Amsterdam because she used to travel as a little girl, but she said this time it felt, different. So it's kind of like she's just, I don't even want to say on a spiritual journey. It's more so she's just absorbing everything that's happened. Her eyes are open. And I feel like her being with Darius, that's like the perfect person to be with, especially if you are going to be tripping like that.
That man will take you on a journey and he won't remember half of it. Their chemistry in this episode was great. It was cool to see them working together because you never got that in season 1 or 2. So just to see them traveling around, actually getting to know each other, it was fun. It was really fun to see that chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in Lux County Jail, Paperboy got arrested and is basically in like the IKEAs of jail cells making his food order because why not?
Asking suggestions of what he should get.
Basically got everything but tucked in that whole scene. Come on, son.
If I go to jail, I'm going to jail in Amsterdam.
Oh my God. I'm not going to jail at all. We go put it like that. No, thank you.
It was a nice jail. You got a flat screen TV. You get spicy food. The guards like suggest stuff for you. Got a thermostat. Who gets a thermostat in a daggone jail cell? Also, the reason for him going to jail, which so did he get in trouble for what the girls did? Is that why he ended up in jail?
Because of the threesome?
Yeah. Or did they even really explain how he ended up there? Like, it wasn't weird because the scene was sexual or anything. It was just weird just because the scene was, first of all, it was hilarious. Second of all, the fact that he went to jail for what they did, well, that's a whole That's another story.
But like pepper throughout the episode, you'll see people basically within blackface because it's a celebration, unfortunately, for Christmas.
No, it's Zorta Pete. It's not blackface. It's for Santa Claus Little Helper,
Yeah.
according to them. The way that they explain it and the way that Ern answered, it sounds like Santa's slave. That's exactly what it is. Like, no way around it, but, you know, when that man showed up to the daggone concert and everybody was in blackface.
That is terrible.
He told them, peace out. It was awful. How do you not understand how that would piss somebody off?
Well, it's different. Well, racism over there is different. American racism isn't the same. Still racist, but very different, more nuanced.
Paperboy ended up leaving the show. Ern went on ahead and let the, I guess, venue manager know that Paperboy wouldn't be showing up. In that same situation, the guy decided he was going to beat up Ern because he said he screwed him. Not exactly in those words. Ern decides to run away. And of course, in a sea of people with blackface, you could tell that somebody that you're attacking is not black, but he attacks somebody anyway, thinking that it's Ern. And Ern just watches from afar.
They can't tell because we all look alike, so there's that.
Which was so ridiculous. Like, listen, when y'all watch the episode, y'all probably gonna think the same thing. Or if you watch it, you're probably thinking, that looks nothing like him at all. Whatever. He proceeds to beat the crap out of this guy. And at the same time, talk smack to him like he's actually talking to Ern. You can hear him saying Ern's name in between punches while Ern literally walks away. Reap what you sow. And since everybody wanted to be black today, some random white guy's about to take a beating.
It's terrible. But ultimately, he doesn't have to perform and they just leave because no. Why would you perform with 1,000 black faces looking at you? No, thank you. That is not the environment that anybody would like. Even with these little scenes here and there, you see the growth in Ern as a manager because obviously he's not as I don't want to say not as clumsy, but he has his stuff together, I'll say, as far as like they're learning about how the promoter can get his money back through insurance and all the rest of those kind of background details and recovering a laptop that he left behind. So he's not as clumsy as before. He's growing. There's a little growth. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on their next stop during this tour. And Van and Darius, meanwhile, they're just...
Yo, I forgot about that part.
Literally at an assisted death ceremony, essentially, for who Darius thought was Tupac. And Van basically had like a little awakening / therapeutic moment with the death doula. And I feel like she may find her purpose with all this tripping around and everything, but being within the assisted death home, and nobody questioned that they were there too. That was the cool part of it, especially when you are a black, you tend to be questioned wherever the hell you go. Kind of like how when they were outside and the woman assumed that Darius was the driver.
Exactly. Why am I standing outside the vehicle if I'm the driver? That doesn't even...
So stupid. But yeah, it was just an interesting scene because it was just like assisted death is a thing and very legal in some countries over there. And they were looking like, not in disdain, but they were just in shock because it obviously was not a silent or... I don't even want to say a peaceful death because what the hell is that?
That was horrible to watch.
The rest of the crowd was just very calm and like understanding as the man is basically contorting his body in the bed and being suffocated. It was very interesting.
It was so many questions. The way that they made it sound, it sounded like the man was sick, but I don't think he was sick.
No. It was
at all.
Basically euthanasia. So no, he was not. Or well, assumed he could have been, but he chose his method of death.
Yeah, that was a horrifying scene.
And that covers episode 2. Well, aside from Darius's clogs. We're looking forward to the rest of the season. We plan on dropping episodes the day after. Gives you a decent amount of time to watch at least and then listen because there will be spoilers. Obviously, this isn't going to be a spoiler-free review because that's not fun. I actually want to talk about it openly and honestly.
Yeah, this opened up with 2 bangers. I'm excited. Everybody look like they in their bag with this. And yeah, it's going to be a great season.
Well, we'll see you next week.
Man, love y'all.